What is up, guys? Today we're going to be checking out top 10 Fate series fights. On the top of my head, what can I think that are the best Fate series fights? Well, obviously, it would have to be Kiritsugu and Kirei. If we're just going narrative-wise, like impact on the story-wise, that would be the top fight. But if we're talking about visuals, all the Heaven's Feel fights, all of them, literally Berserker versus Saber Alter, Rider versus Saber Alter, pretty much any Saber Alter fight, to be honest. Lancer versus True Assassin, that was also a banging fight. And then also we have Lancer versus Emiya, that was also great. And then Gilgamesh versus Shirou. I'm pretty sure a lot of the fights here are going to be stay night, but I could be wrong, and a lot of them could be from Babylonia Grand Order. Would not be surprised about that too. What Apocrypha fights are really good? If we're just taking the narrative fights, if we're just gonna take the narrative out of the way for just a second, I would say Karna versus Sieg was a really good fight. I would say Sieg versus Shirou was a really good fight. Like, well animated, the choreography was fantastic, and also an underrated fight I want to bring to mind would be Chiron versus Achilles. That hand-to-hand fight sequence was fantastic. I love that hand-to-hand. Low-key, probably my favorite hand-to-hand fight in all of Fate, even more so than Shirou versus Kirei at the Heaven's Feel Movie 3. That would be my top pick, top underrated pick, but I could be wrong about all of these, and none of them could be listed here. Let's see. Well, there you go. There you go.
Whenever you speak about anime fights, there's going to be at least one fight from any Fate series thrown around. And with the recent Blu-ray release of the Spring Song movie, the visual quality of Fate fights got to a whole new level.
Oh, yeah.
So, since the main series is now over, it's time to take a look at 10 of the
Spoiler!
best fights in the Fate series. Okay, from now on, I'll let the noble phantasms do the talking.
Rin versus Sakura? I guess. It did look really nice, but I didn't really consider it a fight. It was a fight, yeah, I
about
guess.
the Battle of Servants when you have two sisters trying to kill each other? Well, Sakura is the only one with the killing intention. But Rin had to be a drama queen and go on with a callous attitude just so she can prove her point. Technically, Heaven's Feel isn't the official route of Rin, but she handled herself well for a side character and even managed to win.
Aren't all three routes the official route? Aren't all three of them equally official?
Shows affection.
Yeah, the animation here was really good.
The battle wasn't something much longer like many other fights in the series, and it might just be Rin showing she's a badass when she has a knife in her hand. But this was a huge bonding moment for the two sisters, and the very final trigger to detach Sakura from the Angra Manu. Yeah, so technically Rin did most of the job.
Yeah, she kind of helped slap her back to reality, now that I think about it. Oh dear. Oh no! Spoiler! Ah! Can I skip this? Thank you. I can't. I'm sorry, guys.
Normally, in anime chases, you get these blurry movements with character monologues, but in Fate, you get to witness a
Heaven's
chase
Feel,
that
what'd I
goes
say?
through the road, above the buildings, and into the lake in all
This
its
fight
glory.
was so good. Oh my gosh. And if Lancer just launched Gable just a second earlier, he would have won. Crazy work. I wonder if there is a version where he did actually beat him.
Of the unique
I don't
way
think
they
so.
combine traditional 2D animation with CGI, and the result looks absolutely
CGI was
amazing.
so
We
good
have
here.
seen Lancer in action a lot, so the main focus of this fight is Assassin, and he managed to shine the spotlight all on himself when he literally ripped the heart out of our favorite servant and fed him to the Holy Grail. What can I say? Lancer died, and you aren't human.
He was such a problem. Man. No. over Lancer versus True Assassin? Come on, bro. Come on, dog. No. It was a good fight, but there's too much talking in the middle of it.
Number 8, Saber versus Lancer.
No.
Unlike many other fights in this list, this may not be a visual spectacle, but what matters is the strategy. Without even knowing the story, you can tell this is a fight between two legendary heroes. There's the concept of chivalry going around too often. Both opponents are intelligent enough to predict each other's moves. And there's the subtle tension going around, urging you to know what's going on next.
Saber.
In terms of tension, there are clearly many fights that can triumph this one, but this deserves a spot in my list purely due to the way it steps away from a traditional fight scene and implements more strategy to it. And don't forget, this is just Ufotable flexing their muscles. We always know what we get when they unleash their full power.
I would argue it does look very good, but just, I guess the pacing for me, personally, got blown because the talking was so much. And how much strategy was there? I mean, apart from Diarmuid kind of getting a gotcha on her because of how his noble phantasms work, how much strategy was actually involved with that? That's not like me being passive-aggressive, that's like a genuine question. Of course. Of course. Yes. This is probably my favorite fight of Fate Apocrypha.
Move away from the fights of the main series and take a look at Fate Apocrypha. In here, you've got servants divided as red and black, all fighting one battle royale to win the Holy Grail. And like all Fate storylines, in the end, the ones still standing strong in the game are the ones who are powerful. This means that you get the...
I don't know about that. Because very clearly the more powerful one was Karna. But they freaking did cheats. They activated the action replay.
In the end, the ones still standing strong in the game are the ones who are powerful. This means that you get the best of the fights later in the series, and I'm happy to say they didn't disappoint us with the Sieg versus Karna fight. This wasn't something done by Ufotable, but you can tell it matches the animation style of it all. The animators also made sure to combine their own unique style to the fight to make it more interesting.
I thought it was
even
fantastic.
Sieg was destined to triumph.
Fate Apocrypha animation is amazing.
This one,
yeah, it's A1, but like, at least JC staff didn't do this.
I had my hopes up for Karna because he was my favorite, but he didn't have the power of being the main character, so his powers had to take a back seat.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. Obviously, you have to put this up there. I'm surprised it's not top 3. I am surprised this is not top 3. I wonder what my experience would have been if I watched Fate Zero last. I wonder what my experience would have been.
In an anime about servants, we have a fight between humans. In a story about holy grails and magic, we have a lesson on human nature. Gen Urobuchi weaved an epic moral drama by combining ancient heroes with modern humans, and the climax of the story was between the two main agents of the war. One is an assassin blinded by a false ideal. The other is a crazy priest who finds great satisfaction in the most bizarre things.
Oh my god, the one-handed... That was the best part. And the guitar solo too. It was like it was such a well-directed scene.
Versus Obito fight, but with guns. There are no conversations, no subtle wordplay, no backstories of any sort.
Bro, it was literally on site with them. As soon as they saw each other for the first time.
It's just two guys punching the hell out of each other via a complex magic system. From the start of the fight to Kiritsugu's ending bullet, everything was perfectly choreographed, and to this day, this is still one of the greatest fight scenes in the Fate series.
So why is it not number 3? I'm kidding. What? It was an attack. It wasn't even a battle. This doesn't count.
Berserker is one hulking giant who is good at screaming and
How you gonna go put Shirou in Berserker, but not Shirou versus Saber Alter? I mean, it might be up there, hopefully. No.
smashing things. And how can one human handle against the man who completed the 9 tasks of Hercules? With the 9 lives blade works, of course, the Heavens Feel route was what gave Shirou the most amount of character development. And with character development also came some overpowered abilities. With the 9 lives blade works, of course, the Heavens Feel route was what gave Shirou the most amount of character development.
No, that's very clearly UBW. Or the Fate route. I haven't seen the Fate route, but UBW, I'd say the character development for that is much better. Actually, it depends on what your take on character development is. Shirou's character developed in different ways. Like, in Heaven's Feel, he developed, like, kind of shedding his trying to be a hero thing for saving Sakura. But then in UBW, he kind of doubled down on being a hero. So it depends on how you look at it, really.
And with character development also came some overpowered abilities to take down giants single-handedly. Since Ufotable got tons of movie budget, they weren't picky in spending the cash. So in return, we got this one gorgeous fight scene where Shirou takes down one of the strongest Greek heroes with his own weapon. Berserker got defeated for a second time in the Heaven's Feel franchise. So sorry, Mr. Hercules, seems like you didn't land on the healthiest route.
What are these lists? What is this list?
The 2 servants with
First off, putting this over Lancer versus True Assassin is crazy.
most rotten mouths go into a fight, and in return, you get a visual spectacle. Even though people are speaking a lot
this
about
was
other
fantastic
fights, I feel
fight,
like this
but no,
one isn't
not
discussed
top
very
3.
much in the community. If you judge by the name and think this is a fight between a guy with a bow and a guy with a lance, well, you're sorely mistaken. Think again.
I mean, it kind of was, though.
So, what's the secret of this fight? Magic, animation, noble phantasms. Boy, there's a whole lot going on here. Both the servants unleashed their best attacks, and Ufotable didn't forget to complement all of that with their superb animation. Archer and Lancer gave us one hell of a showdown, and their fight was one of the—
This is not ordered, right? I'm just gonna go thinking this is not ordered. Maybe he said it. I have no idea.
best anime fights I've ever seen.
Yeah, it looked very good. Yeah. Especially the back shot of... the shot of Archer's back. There you go. Berserker versus Saber Alter. There you go. There you go.
Saber was a badass back when she was a normal servant, but her alter form takes things a step further and doesn't forget to land nukes with each of her attacks.
Literally.
That was only one major fight scene in the second Heaven's Feel movie, so Ufotable made sure to land more than half of the budget into this one fight scene, and
Well, the thing is, it's not even like budget. It's just, I'm sure they had like much more time to work on this than like maybe certain other animes.
needless to say, the output was epic, cinematic, and mind-blowing.
I mean, you can't really like spend more money to have the art done better. It's more so just like time and scheduling.
Normally, the servant to intimidate the audience in a fight like this would be Berserker, but Saber Alter had this aurora around her that foreshadowed her victory at the end of the fight. Her power levels had also grown in a drastic amount, as I mentioned. Instead of the Excalibur, she has the Excalibur Morgan. Or should I say the full chant? Hammer of the Vile King. Overturn the Aurora. Swallow the Light. Excalibur Morgan.
But she never said Excalibur Morgan in Heaven's Feel. She only said it in grand order. Obviously, you have to put this number 1. That's just a no-brainer. Yeah.
Fate fights can go back up to 15 years, but never in those 15 years have we witnessed something like this.
Oh, yeah.
Like most anime fight scenes, the stakes and visuals
Best
are what
fight
keeps the audience
of
gripped.
Fate.
But this
Easily.
time, the stakes are amplified and the visuals have reached a whole new level. Yes, seriously, you can build an entire country from the budget allocated for these visuals alone.
I'm just not gonna say anything about that. Oh yeah, this part was badass.
Ufotable gave their absolute best for their final Fate project, and this fight is the best example of it. There are multiple noble phantasms flying here and there, and each character got a moment to shine during the fight.
Yeah, this is like some of the best animation I've ever seen in my life. Although that Demon Slayer movie might change my tune.
It was rather tragic to see Saber being
this is like
one
the
of
pinnacle
final villains
for
in
me.
this specific Fate route. But on the other hand, we got to see Ryder and Shirou trusting each other and using powers to their highest potential. I don't know about you, but this is the most visually stunning fight I've ever seen in any anime so far, and I challenge you to prove me wrong.
I don't know, that Demon Slayer might prove people wrong. I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. We're gonna react to it, by the way.
So there goes the best Fate fight scenes of all time. The Heavens Feel trilogy brought tears to our eyes with its animation and visuals, and I'm here lamenting about how the original Fate series has ended now, forever. But I'm gonna keep my hopes up, and so should you. As usual, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell notification.
Alright, so what do you guys think about this list? Hold on, is this ranked? Is this ranked? Look at the 10 best fights in the Fate series. Wait, hold on. Did he say it was ranked? That's my thing. Did he say it was ranked?
About anime fights, there's going to be at least one fight from any Fate series thrown around. And with the recent Blu-ray release, since the mains. Okay, from now on, I'll let the noble phantasms do the...
I mean, I'm just gonna assume it's ranked because you didn't say it was unranked. Okay, do I agree with this? Yes and no. I agree with like a majority of the picks because they're kind of like no-brainers. Like Kiritsugu versus Kirei, that's a no-brainer. Saber Alter versus Berserker, that's a no-brainer. Ryder versus Saber Alter, that's a no-brainer. But I really think, but I think he's kind of underutilizing some Fate Apocrypha fights because some Fate Apocrypha fights are really well choreographed and, dare I say, are probably better than some Fate Stay Night fights. I would say Chiron versus Achilles is one of my favorite fights of Fate Apocrypha. Shirou versus Sieg is also one of my favorite. Again, if we're just taking the plot out of the way, if we're taking the plot away for just a second, the visuals for Shirou versus Sieg was legitimately stunning, to be honest. Like, let's just be honest here. It looked fantastic. But hold on, let me see people's comments on here. I'm very curious. No one talking about Gilgamesh for Hercules. That was a great fight. Sieg versus Karna will hold a special place. Yeah. Heavens Feel. Saber Alter, Shirou. Okay. Ryder. Okay. So people are kind of agreeing. Oh yeah, finally someone said Achilles versus Chiron. Yes. Thank you. Someone said it. But okay. There's no Shirou versus Archer, Shirou versus Gilgamesh. Other than that, yeah. Why isn't Shirou versus Gilgamesh here? Now that I think about it, why is that not there? I mean, there are a number of things that I disagree with this video. I disagree with the ordering. Like, some things should definitely be above the others. But hey, it's their list, right? It's his list. I'm not gonna be one of those people and be like, oh, this list is invalid. This is an invalid list. My list is the best. I'm not gonna be one of those people. Obviously, I would change things, but yeah, this is his video. More power to him. I'm going to leave a link of the video in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had such a great time. See you guys in the next one. Peace.